Let's talk about how to create your reference page. To create your reference page, we're going to need the app Pages, so go ahead and get that installed from self-service, please. There's a chance that you have already typed up your reference page in Docs. If so, scroll to it and copy that over to Pages. If you haven't already written your reference page and put it in Docs, I would recommend writing it first in Pages. So we'll go over to Pages. We'll create a new document, and we'll either start working or we'll paste what we already have. If you're pasting what you already have, you'll notice that any formatting that you had before will no longer exist. So first what we're going to do is we're going to select everything that we just did. We're going to go to the paintbrush up in the upper right. We're going to change it. My font's currently in Helvetica New. I'm going to change that to Times New Roman. It's currently 11-point font. I want to bump that up to 12. And down where it says line spacing, I want to bump that up to 2. Now I need to center the word references. So I'm going to go ahead and hit center there. And now this is a pretty good start to my reference page. But I don't have the proper indentations yet. So what I'm going to end up wanting are indentations that look like these. So this is what's called a hanging indent. And we'll notice that the start of each of my lines comes all the way out to the left, and any lines that happen afterwards come in. So this one had 2 lines that came after, so I've got 2 that come in, 2 that come in, 2 that come in. This first one only had 1 line afterwards, so it has 1 that comes in, and this one didn't have any lines after the beginning line, so it had nothing fancy going on with it. Okay? Notice how that's the opposite of a traditional paragraph, where a traditional paragraph, the first line is indented, like so, and then everything else comes further out to the left. This is the opposite of that, and that's what we want our reference pages to look like. So let's talk about how to make that happen in Pages. The first thing that we're going to have to do is hit this button just to the right of where it says Documents up in the upper left, and we want to swipe our ruler on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap right in front of the beginning of my second line here, and up at the ruler I'm going to grab the little triangle piece and pull it over to the number 2. Notice how it moved both my first and second line where I only wanted my second. So now I'm going to grab my little rectangle at the top and pull it back over to the number 1. And I'm going to move down my page doing that repeatedly. Drag them both over, drag the top line back. Drag them both over. Too far, I want it right on the number 2. Drag the top line back. Both over, top line back. And this is kind of tricky at first. I actually really struggled with this at first, but you end up kind of getting into a habit and a routine where you end up picking it up pretty easily. And my last line I don't have to do anything with. So now this is exactly what I want it to look like. The first line comes all the way out to the left. I didn't go quite far enough on that one. And the other subsequent lines come inwards. Notice too that my references are in alphabetical order. The first words here, we have Galgano, plot, realism, transcendentalism, Twain. So those are in alphabetical order. That's also exactly what I want. So this reference page looks good to go. Now let's talk about how to get it submitted to Schoology. To get it submitted to Schoology, I'm going to go to these dots in the upper right. I might be tempted to hit that share button, but I don't want you to hit the share button. Instead, I want you to go to export and export it as a PDF, and then from there you'll be able to get it into Schoology. If you hit share, you're going to share a Pages document with your teacher, and Pages does not exist on our computers, only on the iPads. So your teacher won't be able to see your work, you won't be able to grade it, and you'll get a 0. So please, please, please go to the dots, export as a PDF so that you can get a grade for your hard work.